How you doing today, guys? I was riding down the road and a thought came to me, and I thought that it would be a good time for me to make a video. As you all know, in some parts of our state in Mississippi, it's what we call election season. People are campaigning for certain seats, and if you are a smart voter and you care about your community and the safety of yourself, your kids, and your loved ones, crime should be at the forefront of your mind when we're thinking about our community and who we are voting to put in office. And I wanted to tell you certain things that we should ask these people when they come around asking for our votes. We need to know that if a police officer sees fit to arrest someone, that if that person is allowed to leave jail, they are allowed to leave jail under some type of supervision that has some teeth in it. What we are seeing in Mississippi right now, we are seeing a lot of people that are getting arrested and they are allowed to leave jail without having to pay any money, just with their signature. Keep in mind that I would say as much as 90% of these people wouldn't qualify to buy a car at the used car lot, but they are being allowed to guarantee their own appearance in court and sign for $5, $10, $15, $20, $50,000 bonds from crimes that range from armed robbery to sexual battery. And really and truly, once you think about it, it really doesn't matter what the crime is, because there are a lot of psychological factors that play into a person going to jail and the way they are released, and the chance of them recidivate or going back to jail again or getting arrested again. If a person gets arrested on a misdemeanor and they are given the minimum bond, any bond up to $1,000 in Mississippi costs $150. If I work part-time at Taco Bell or anywhere and a police officer charges me with committing a misdemeanor and I have to spend that $150 to get out of jail, I'm going to be less likely to get out of jail and go commit another crime. But if I'm allowed to participate in domestic violence, disorderly conduct, shoplifting, destroying someone's property even though it may be under $1,000 in value, if I can go to jail and sign myself out of jail, more than likely I'm not going to give much thought to committing crimes again. After all, crime is going to pay at this point. So when these politicians come around asking for our votes, we need to ask them, where do they stand on what they call appearance bonds in Jackson? They're called unsecured bonds in other courts outside of Jackson. But basically what it is, it's a release on recognizance. In some cases, criminals with lengthy criminal histories are allowed to sign a piece of paper saying that if I don't come to court, I'm going to pay the court $5,000. Well, if I'm not credible to buy a $1,000 car, what makes me credible to stand for $5,000? What's going to happen when I don't come to court and they don't have a specific person like a bail bond company would to come find me? How is that going to cost the taxpayers? How is that going to cost the court? If we can't find a person, F-I-N-D, we can't find a person, F-I-N-E. So, let's just take misdemeanor crime, for instance, which in more times than not ends in fines and court costs. Well, if there was no bond and that person fails to come to court, there's no bonding company or bail enforcement agent to look for that person. If they can't get that person back into court to assess fines and fees and court costs, how are they going to collect them? And how is that going to help the city or the county when their operating budget that they get from fines and different fees is diminished? How is that going to help your quality of living when you have a person that's a nuisance on your street, in your neighborhood, causing problems, and he can go to jail and sign himself back out of jail, and he's back on the block creating problems again? When, if he had to spend some money to get out of jail, it would have given him something to think about before he went back. This is not rocket science. This is common sense. So I wanted to share that with you. Our votes should no longer be taken for granted. If we're going to build up places like Jackson, Hattiesburg, Meridian, businesses have to know that there's some teeth in the law. A person has to know that if they've been assessed a fine and they don't pay that fine, that there's a place to put them. I'm welcome to read your input. Please post if you would like. And have a nice day.